Remember. It's Morning Crankers.
How you doing? It's Morning Crankers.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's
I
get
had
this
a
party
I had a
started.
song planned for today. Did I tell you that?
You did not.
Yeah,
Man,
it was called The Grid.
the grad.
But I think, how we do extras for the people that really love the show?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to do The Grid and record it and then,
The
put it
Grid.
up there just for them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah? Is it going to be I Saw Red? Remember the old song? Oh, I Saw Red. That was the song. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's time to get this party started.
No, it's one of those days. Welcome to Morning Crankers.
Hello,
Early
gang.
morning chaos. That's what we
Get
can
your
say.
coffee, get your donuts. Let's go.
Yeah. See, Gred's talking in the background, but he doesn't know that nobody can hear him because he's on the same channel on the mixer. Because this is a new thing with Riverside, so we're learning it, we're figuring it.
We are.
Blah blah blah. But it is what it is, and it's coming. So today we're going to talk about the national days. We're going to talk about Trump. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about a drunk pilot, with all the stuff going on. Bees attack a town in France. And we got some dentistry, some tomfoolery, and, things like that. And then, Gred, now they can hear you.
Get your coffee, get your donut, and sit by and listen to the little hands and the little grad.
Well, unless you're diabetic. And then, I don't know what you get. I don't.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to get if you're
Shocked.
diabetic?
If you're diabetic, you're going to get shocked. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, you could get shocked. But I'm saying, okay, what is the replacement for a goodness donut or a glorious donut?
Man, that's a hard one. Yeah, man.
What are you supposed
How
to
do
do?
you
We'll go have
replace
a carrot.
a good donut?
Yeah,
Probably with a good pizza donut. Oh, that would be awesome. Maybe I need to invent that.
Yeah, well, I mean, could it be celery? Go get
Celery,
yourself
yeah.
some celery. I
Yes.
really do feel bad because I feel bad for myself. What
Right.
are you supposed to eat? Now, the good thing about
That
being
is true.
diabetic is steak and eggs. You get to have a lot of steak and eggs. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing wrong with that.
No, steak and eggs is beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Bring that in because that is good.
Yeah. Oh no, that's really good.
Oh,
yeah.
answer.
Somebody's telling you about Michael Madsen.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I want to hear.
Reservoir Dog star Michael Madsen's cause of death has finally come to light. All right, we ready, gang?
Okay, I've got a guess here because I didn't read the story.
Oh,
Was it complications to a liver disease?
yeah, I believe so. But it's complications from heart disease and his alcoholism.
Yeah, that's
that was
kind of
named
where
as
I
the
thought it
main
was
one.
going.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's hear it, brother.
But yeah, the autopsy report just came out July 3rd. At age 67, Mr. Madsen cause of death was heart failure, in which he also had heart disease, and he was being monitored by his personal doctor. So they said that personal doctor said there will be no autopsy of Mr. Madsen. May you rest in peace, Mr. Madsen, because you were a great actor.
What are they saying? They can set it up so now there can be conspiracies about how he passed away?
Could be.
I mean, that's basically what they're saying, right?
Kind of sounds that way.
Yeah, well, and great actor.
Yeah, he was. He played in a lot of great films.
So what was the most favorite film that you had of Michael Madsen?
Definitely, we discussed this before the show. I think Reservoir Dogs was by far his favorite.
Now I watched a thing about Reservoir Dogs. You know when he started that dance, did you know that he didn't even know how to dance?
He didn't, yeah. He had
and the
to get
director
some
told him,
on-set
just go with
training.
it. Yeah, that's really crazy. And when they filmed that, me and you, because we do podcasting and we understand how you film things and put music in afterwards,
Right.
the music that's actually in that scene was played through that boombox simply because they needed it for him to dance. What do you think of that?
That's pretty awesome. especially if you don't know how to dance really good. Sounds
Yeah,
like
that
my
was
problem.
like reality TV. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, I don't think you've really tried to get out there and shake a leg with the ladies, have you?
I haven't in a while, but if I do, look out.
Yeah. Well,
I've been known to cut a few rugs and some yards.
speaking of watch out, I got a question for you. This is in U.S. news, and it's kind of alarming. Okay. A Czech family of 3 is accused of running a fake dental clinic. Okay. The Czech police detained 3 suspects who allegedly
Right.
treated patients in a fake dental clinic without a proper license or professional training.
Yeah.
Prague. Czech police say that they detained the 3 suspects who allegedly treated patients at a fake dental clinic without the training or licensing. In a statement Wednesday, said dozens of people visited the clinic after the family of 3 opened it at their home in Havlicek Brod, some 100 kilometers or 60 miles southeast of Prague, 2 years ago. The trio made, get this, 4 million Czech koruna before they were detained earlier this month. And if you want to know what that is, that's about $185,000.
Yeah, I heard a police officer had some dental work done there recently, too, from the Czech.
They
He said,
probably were.
He told the dentist, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself when you pull out the wrong tooth again.
Well,
Yeah.
So they're in Czech, and I guess this can happen here too. They've pled guilty to running an illegal business, attempted bodily harm, stealing and illegal production of handling of narcotics, psychotropic substances, and poison. They all face up to 8 years in prison. But check this out. So the son, 22 years old, consulted the internet to do procedures, including extractions, while his 50-year-old mother, a nurse by profession, worked as his dental assistant and provided materials. The 44-year-old father made prosthetic devices. The regional Denic newspaper said the clinic was reported by a dentist who was approached by a patient who suffered from complications after a treatment.
Wow.
Now, do you believe that, or do you think that these people were doing something at a way cheaper price and it was causing, this other dentist to lose some of his money? And so the dentist...
I think they were doing a little check and John on that.
But it could be a Cheech and Gong. Yeah.
Yeah, or check and Gong.
I'm trying to figure out why somebody would go to something like this unless he was so good that you actually felt comfortable. Like when a dentist goes into my mouth, that's a very personal thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It is.
So, yeah, I mean, like they've got big iron hooks and they've got shots and they've, things like that. I mean, I've seen drunk guys rip their teeth out with pliers. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about, do you think you should be able to have any type of business that you want, or do you believe in regulation?
I think you got to have some regulation, but I, as far as that goes, I mean, you don't want over-regulation, and that's the problem with a lot of things.
Oh, you mean over-regulation that causes the prices of everything to go up, so they're so affordable, normal working people can't use them?
I'm talking about the non-raising regulations. That's what I'm talking about.
So I mean, you've worked a lot. We know a lot of people that have worked a lot. What do you think the percentage is of Americans that actually have dental insurance?
I'm going to say 54%.
I'm gonna say that's way off.
That's my guesstimation.
That's very high. Let's see. I'm going to Google this. You go ahead with a story if you got one.
Yeah, I've got one. Matter of fact, it's a bumpy play. Did you know that?
No.
In the road. A bumpy play in the road, hands. Beethoven's Night at the Symphony is being used how do you say the Emirates, Arab Emirates, I guess.
Arab Emirates, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it alerts drifters to stay in your lane. And if you don't stay in your lane, guess what you get to listen to? Beethoven's Night at the Symphony. Sounds like
Wow.
a symphony of destruction to me. Or
Right.
destruction.
So me and you are both very, very, very wrong. According to the National Association of Dental Plans, or the NADP, 87% of Americans have dental insurance as of 2023. I am going to call a big bullshit about that.
I would agree with you on that.
Okay, 90% of employees with employer-sponsored health insurance also have dental insurance. Have you?
I did have a dental insurance, yes.
How good was it?
It's pretty daggone good, actually.
Okay, so tell me about it. Would they do braces? Would they do crowns?
They would cover the dentures pretty good if you got dentures done and all that. And it was Delta, so pretty good coverage.
Let's see, what
I can't complain about them. They're really good.
Dental. Well, I mean, that's pretty good. I know that a lot of the places people work don't carry dental insurance anymore. And I know that a lot of dentist offices don't actually take dental insurance anymore because it doesn't pay very good.
It's true. But that's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I just don't believe that number at all. I bet you know what? Write us at morningcrankers@gmail.com. I want to know if you, the American people, do you think that there's actually 87%? You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Now, okay, here's the thing. If 87% of people have dental insurance, here's another statistic. According to a 2025 study from CareQuest Institute for Oral Health, found that 93% of low-income individuals have unmet dental needs.
Oh, yeah. I believe that.
Well, I mean, how does that work, brother? How does that work if 87%, excuse me, if 87% have it, how do 93% have unmet dental needs? Because they don't want to use the insurance?
That's possible because the rates are expensive.
Well, it could be, or they could just be blowing smoke. So, it is what it is.
Thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of is just a is. Does that is make sense?
It ism don't make no sense, but yeah.
Yeah. So let me bring this up and you tell me if this is yay or nay, okay?
Okay.
Trump. He threatens a 50% on tariff on Brazil if it doesn't stop the Bolsonaro witch hunt trial, which is their former president that Trump happens to be friends with. Right. Now, we're both pro-American. I would say that we're both kind of angry with the way that things are happening in the country right now. Some people like, the Erpstein, you know what I'm talking about? The Erpstein list. Yeah, or the Erper list. The Gerper. Yeah.
Quicker Erper.
Okay, now I understand what it is. Okay?
Yeah.
A honeypot operation that provides blackmail to, the CIA and Mossad. It is what it is. And it's not just about that. I mean, we're talking about gun running, and we're talking about the DRUGS thing. We're talking about all of that stuff that's behind this. And, we really don't hear a lot about it, if you know what I'm saying. But we know enough. Yeah, crickets. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, I'm very angry about that, but I want to know what you think about Trump threatening tariffs on a nation because he sees that guy going through what he went through. What do you think about that?
It's exactly what I think about it, Hans.
Okay, well, I don't really know, it is. But I think that people got the gist of what you were trying to say.
I was pretty angry about it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Do I think that Bolsonaro should be tried? Probably not. But what damn business is it of mine as an American, and he's Brazilian? Please tell me.
Amen to that.
So I can have my opinion, but it doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't mean that our country should be saying anything because of what they're doing. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense.
Okay. Another thing. I just want to say that we have been vindicated once again. What do you think of that?
I agree.
Okay. Vindicated. Everybody that said that we were, just conspiracy, go yourself. Is that okay?
Time.
Yes.
Yeah.
For two things. One, the U.S. government came out and said that massive weather manipulation was happening. And we said that how many years ago?
A bunch of times. How many times do we have to tell it?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. 1982 is when the U.S. government hired its first plane to start doing weather modifications where they're dumping crap in the sky to make it rain, to make it colder, to make it, and, you just start wondering when people start playing the big guy, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Have you noticed how many hurricanes we've got? Have you noticed, like, the tragedy that just happened in Texas?
Yeah,
and
that's sad.
Every couple years, we have these big tragedies that we never used to have before, and they tell us that it's global warming. However, maybe it's them playing God. Does that make sense?
I agree with that. Exactly, Hans.
Yeah.
You're spot on.
Yeah, it's very annoying that these people will blame something when it's so obvious in our face. Kind of like, what do you call? Is it still called the jab?
I think so.
Okay, so all the stuff that we said about the jab that they said wasn't real, now it's came out from independent peer-reviewed studies that we were right, they were wrong. Okay, have you been patted on the back and said, hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for, causing
sorry
you
for being right all this along and you not believing me. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's two, right? We've got two of them.
Yeah.
All right. How about this one? So back in the day, me and you, we talked about China and what they were doing. And, we had our thoughts on that city in Hawaii and, what happened down in the Palisades. And, I'm talking about the blue roof buildings never getting hit. I'm talking about that. Okay. You know what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly what you're saying.
So we're talking about laser beams and what lasers could do and what militaries were using them. But
yeah, it's hard being a conspiracy knowist. You know that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They have now came out and said, not the American government, but the German government was complaining because a Chinese warship used a laser against a surveillance aircraft miles over the sea, over the Red Sea. And according to Germany, it's pulled this dangerous move before because the lasers are actually so powerful they can destroy the jets and planes in the sky. Now, what do you think of that?
I think it's something else, man.
Well, hang on a second. I mean, no, lasers aren't real, Gret. Don't you remember that? Like 5 years ago, nobody's got lasers.
No, we're just cutting our teeth, right? Talking about it.
Yeah, well, it says that U.S. and its allies have repeatedly accused China's military of using lasers to flash aircraft and cause problems with ships in the Pacific for over 2 decades.
Oh, boy.
Hank, you want me to say that, the last part of that again?
Oh, boy. Oh, no, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for over 2 decades. Do you know how many years 2 decades is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 20 years.
Yeah.
So, I think that, I really do think that people owe us something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I agree. But you know what we continue to always hear?
Crickets. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's completely unacceptable, according to the Germany's Foreign Office, because it said it was endangering German personnel and disrupting the operation.
Yeah,
And
of course, they've got all kinds of excuses.
well, here's the thing. I'm just glad that they're finally admitting that it's happening. So how long do you think it's going to take them to admit that they used a laser in Hawaii? And then after that, how long are you going to take to admit that it was probably a private laser that was done by people in, places like the WEF and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
Easy. This is easy stuff to figure out. Well, it was what? Kennedy got assassinated in the 60s, and we're just now finding out stuff about that.
Well, see, and a lot of American stuff, like when it comes to this stuff, it's a minimum of a 50-year seal. Nothing can even be opened up
50 to 60 years easily.
Right, because they want everybody that was alive not alive, so they don't have to deal with the repercussions of us finding out that we were lied to.
So they can go ahead and live their life on their luxury islands.
Well, here's the other thing. I mean, doesn't it seem like the relationship between the American people and the government, that I'm not talking about since Trump took over, I'm talking basically since that scumbag Bush Sr. was alive, doesn't it seem like we've been living in a bad dream, like we're in a bad marriage, and we're hoping that things get better, but they never do because the spouse keeps lying?
Yep.
And pulling stuff that would never be tolerated by, normal. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Right. But it's it's like we listen to this stuff year in and year out, and nothing's ever going to change. Nothing's ever going to change with the government's part of this. It's always going to be that 50-year window that you just talked about. I say 50 plus.
It is 50 plus.
Because look at the Kennedys. Like I said, the Kennedy assassination, it took them 60 years to come out with that information in their hands.
How about Operation Sunstreak? Yeah. Okay. That one just came out. Okay. The Tuskegee experiment, the radiation that they poured on the American people. I mean, there are so many things that were considered conspiracy that are now actually founded in science and
documented. You mean like forming rain clouds over Vietnam so the Vietnamese would get rained on, and so would the U.S. military?
Yes. Or how about this? How about the rainbow monkeys that have now been proven to be in Vietnam?
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they treated some American soldiers pretty bad for admitting that there were bipedal walking, basically short orangutans there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. And their governments love monkeying around with us, no pun intended. But it's true.
Yeah, no, it is. So, before we get done, man, I got to ask you, have you seen all the weird stuff going on in the skies? And I'm not talking about UFOs. I'm talking about with our own jets, planes, stuff flipping upside down. Slamming into each other, weird, anomalies.
Weird anomalies lately, yeah.
Yeah, well, does this explain some of it? This United Airlines pilot. Like, if I think of a United Airlines pilot, I think of somebody that's upstanding. I think of somebody that's very smart.
Right.
It says a senior United Airlines pilot who is disoriented and slurring his speech following a head injury claims he was instead accused of being an alcoholic, forced into inpatient rehab, and threatened with grounding unless he admitted to allegedly non-existent addiction. Captain Michael Talon denied he had any problems with alcohol. He was informed by higher-ups that if he did not confess to having a drinking problem, he would never fly a United plane again, according to a bombshell federal lawsuit obtained by The Independent. What do you think?
And it's kind of like making accusations before you know the true answer.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. They caught him on the job doing this. They thought he was drunk. He says, no, it was because of a head injury. I just wasn't thinking right. I say, what the hell was he doing on the job, whether he was drunk and or suffering from a head injury?
And if that's the case, where's the company at to send him, American Airlines, to send? Ain't that who we're talking about here, right? Why wasn't it them to send him to the doctor right away and find this out for sure. Well, that's just hearsay.
So this does get worse. Unfortunately, this guy did blow into a breathalyzer twice a day.
Okay.
He complied with all United Airlines demands.
And he passed, I'm sure.
He passed everything. Yep.
He had
and
to
then
in
he
order
went,
to fly a plane.
Correct. And then he went and got a second opinion from his personal physician who reported finding zero evidence at all of any substance abuse disorder.
Bingo.
Then, okay, well, think about this. United Airlines then sent this poor bastard to a psychologist to deal with his denial issues, according to the court complaint. What do you think of that?
I think this man did everything responsible that he was supposed to do as an employer.
Yep.
I think he deserves to have his job. I don't think they deserve to try to fire a man for not even, if he's passing the alcohol breathalyzer test, they have no evidence of him doing that. Simple.
Absolutely.
Case closed.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So this poor bastard went through all of this stuff, and it's been proven by doctors that he didn't do it. So, I come back to this. We have a personal friend, used to live over in the Steers and you know what?
Yeah.
Beers from that state.
Oh, yeah.
And then went over the state with the largest amount of shark attacks in the world right now.
Right.
And anyways, that guy had a doctor that said, this is what's going on. This is what he can or cannot do. And the insurance company said, well, we don't believe you. Whatever. Click over.
That's the problem. They're taking the wrong advice. Whoever they're getting it from. I mean, let's just be honest.
Do you think it's advice, or do you think that, like United Airlines, do you think there's some special thing they could have got from the federal government for saving an addict or an alcoholic, or do you think it's something like that?
I think it has to be. I mean, why are they sticking their neck all the way out there to be sued? That's what I don't understand. And that's exactly where these topics are leading to.
Right. It's kind of like being with a loose woman when you stick your know what out to get,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's maybe that was
the dapper duper day. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Dapper Dan man, that type of thing.
I kind of said that low, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we'll leave that for another day, but I would love to hear what people say. They can contact us at morningcrankers@gmail.com, or they can go to our website at morningcrankers.com and comment. There's a spot they can comment. They can sign up. They can see all our special stuff, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there are some people that may have some more time on their hands. And those people I'm talking about are the federal workers that just got bad news from the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court ruled in President Trump's favor that he is able to start cutting their jobs, which Doge wanted to do a long time ago.
Right.
And I've got very mixed feelings about this because, okay, I am an American first, all right? My politics come after me being an American. The being American and, that's kind of like my identity, like family, community, that type of thing.
Yep.
My sexual orientation and my politics come way fucking, you know what I mean?
You let that one slip.
Well, that one slipped, but it was up, like
through the beep, beep, beep.
Well, I was saying Farfignugan.
Farfignugan, that's what he was saying, folks.
Yeah, I was saying Farfignugan.
Anyways, interpreted in German.
Yes, but because we were reading that story about Germany. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so it's just Farfignugan.
Along that lines. Yeah.
Well, I'm hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet, and Farfignugan used to be a cookie.
Yeah.
So Farfignugan. You see what I'm saying?
To language. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
you're speaking it right now.
A bunch of federal workers said that they fear Trump is going to fire them after a court ruling. Union president said, "We are toast."
We are toast. Wow.
Okay, here's what I've got to say about this. I don't like seeing anybody out of work. I do think that the government needs to run as efficient as possible to create a private sector for people to actually do well for themselves. I don't think that the government should be a nanny state for people just because. Okay.
I agree with that, Hans. No one needs to be my nanny. I know that. I can take care of myself. I'm a big boy. I put on my big boy pants every day, one leg at a time.
So It does make me feel bad. I hate seeing American families in a bad way because of, financial problems. And it really
Right.
pisses me off when I see people, what they do with this money. And I'm not talking about the regular, normal Americans. I'm talking about the super rich. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
When
The
you
ones that
actually
see
know.
us, the ones that see us on the beach and say, turn their nose up and say, I wish they weren't on my beach.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse than that now. I mean, literally, they look at us like we're bug eaters. That's what we're supposed
Oh,
to
I
eat.
know.
Our protein
Yeah.
in the future, according to the UN Sustainable Development Agenda, is we're supposed to be bug eaters. Like, I mean, that's the poor people,
So we went as children being burger eaters to they want us to be bug eaters now as adults. Wow.
Right.
Our government
Well, at
makes no
least we're not
sense.
ass eaters. Okay, that's all I got to say about that.
Amen
All
to
right.
that.
But well, I want to know your opinion, literally, on these people. A lot of these jobs, to be truthful, we had a bloated government that wasn't working, that wasn't doing the responsible things, that was just wasting money. USAID and the Epstein stuff are connected.
Yep.
There's a lot going on that we don't know. But for the people that just went there, rank and file people that went in there, did their job, are now losing their jobs, what do you have to say to them, Gred?
I think you guys should have kept your jobs personally. Because if you were doing your job correctly, why would you lose your job?
Well, what if the job wasn't needed anymore?
Well, that depends. If that job ain't needed, then that's a whole different ball
Okay,
game.
so let me ask you something. What if you were the person at the State Department, okay, that actually handled, Kermit the Frog doing his LGBTQ show in Iraq? That was your job, was to be the handler for the money that went over there to create Sesame Street over there. What if that was your job?
What a waste of a frog. I mean, yeah, why would they even think to do that?
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
there's just a bunch of nonsense. And, a lot of this is just government waste. And, it comes back in different ways. And, dark
It's
organizations.
typical Washington Sesame Street.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right? So maybe we should think really hard about, what people have jobs, what people don't have jobs. I don't think that people should have a job by the government just to have a job. Unless you're
Agree.
useful to America, then you got to go to the private sector or start your own business or anything. But I don't think that they should just rip the carpet out from underneath them. I'm like, these are American people here. Let's
Right.
give them the things, the tools that they need to find something else. And I do believe that Trump is going to try to do that.
I hope he does give some of these people second chances.
Well, I don't know about second chances. Like I said, it just depends if the job is not needed. Why would we be paying somebody to do a job that's not needed?
I'm talking about the jobs that we do need.
Okay,
I'm not
well,
talking about those non-necessities like LGBTQ Sesame Street. I'm talking about we need people that are going to really do a real
Right.
job for America.
So I think the idea here is to kind of follow Elon Musk's footsteps. When he went into Twitter, he cut, like 40% of the workforce, and now they're more efficient and making more money than at any time in history.
Most certainly, yeah.
The U.S. government is revenue neutral, so I understand it's not in the business of making money, but it should be in the business of being efficient. So it's going to tax its people like me, you, and every listener that listens to this show, tax us less.
Yes.
Okay? That's just my thing. Like,
less taxes
sorry to
makes
see people to go.
happy.
Yeah, well, it makes everybody happy, I think.
Oh,
So
most certainly.
we're over the rainbow. We're taxes.
No.
Reach into
Hope
your
they
wallet.
don't pay for that next with the government.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
And I didn't say over Laredo. I said over the rainbow. You see, you heard that new song?
I heard it.
We're over Laredo. That's a new country song. Yeah.
Oh, did not know that. Yeah.
See, yeah. Well, and it's a blatant copy, and it's probably on Spotify and Amazon Music, and it's probably all over. Now, if we would have done that, and if we're talking about Minnesota or something, and we would have came up with a song that was somewhere over Mankato, they probably would have taken it down.
Over 15,000 lakes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Well, that's in the Badger State, the cheese state.
Yeah.
It's 10,000 lakes. Remember, over there,
Oh,
where
that's right.
mosquitoes are the size of hawks.
Oh,
Yeah.
lickety splickety. I said the wrong state on purpose. I mean,
But
no,
you
I
see,
didn't.
you know, over northern Illinois, there they've got some lakes and stuff. You know.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, then there's the armpit of the U.S. over to the east side of Illinois.
Yeah.
You know, Chicago.
We got
Have
to
you ever done that?
check
Yeah.
ourselves before we wreck ourselves. But
Let's.
Yes.
That's what you hear.
There you go.
Anyways, I want to thank everybody for being here today.
Yes.
Next week, I think I'm going to have this line thing figured out. We've got the new voice of Morning Crankers.
We do.
Yeah, we do. And, you know, we can get back to our games. We can get back to our singing. We can get back to all the fun and goodness that we usually do. And we can get back to entertaining people so they can get through the week without going postal. Is that still a thing, going postal?
Yeah. Can I? Yeah, I can. I can give you a clue to our new segment and our new guest. Can I?
Yeah, do it. Do it, man. Do it.
Yeah, I'll give you a clue. Pit
Go
stop.
for it. Okay. What was it?
Stop.
What?
Pit stop.
I couldn't hear you.
Pit stop.
Yeah,
pit stop. Okay, I know you're bleeping me out.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here.
All right.
Have a good one.
To make one of those pit stops on Tuesday night morning. Crankers. This has been Grad. Enjoy your weekend, folks.
Yeah.